Right. Hey, YouTube. So, my name is Michael Music, and the conversation that I really want to have today is on the chapter of persistence. So, just a little bit about me. I'm 23 years old. I've been reading this book, Think and Grow Rich, for about 125 episodes. Now, I've been reading it way further, but I decided I wanted to actually start explaining this not only to be like, okay, I'm rich, this is what you got to do, but also understand, what is truly necessary to get what is claimed in this book, Think and Grow Rich. So, with that being said, the chapter today is on persistence, and I just wanted to take this time to read a couple of the one-liners that I found in this chapter that really have personally benefited me in ways that I can't explain, and see if it makes sense for you to actually get some value from this. So, you know, the heading of this book is persistence. He says this the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. Okay, this is the eighth step towards riches. Let's just pause on the title right there. Right, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. Okay, going back to the chapter on faith, right? It was explained in the book that faith is almost like explaining the color red to a blind man. It's not something that's easily explainable. Like, what does it mean to truly believe? Okay, and one thing that I learned from going through the chapter on faith this time around when reading the book was that faith may actually be produced, and there's a formula for producing faith. And it's not what you think. And when I say faith, I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about any of like that conversation. I'm talking about truly believing in your desire, right? So going back to the first chapter, desire, right? The goal here is to write down whatever it is that you want and actually make it a reality. And so the next step to do that is to have faith, right? So I'm taking a side step from persistence, but I really need to explain this, right? So for faith, right, there's one way and one method, and it's actually a scientific method that the author Napoleon Hill explains on how to produce faith, and that is through constant repetition of truly believing in your goal card. I know he didn't put it in those words, but that's just the simple matter. He says faith may be I think it was produced through the law of autosuggestion, which is the third principle of this book. And now coming back here just to the title, right? I didn't even get past the title of this chapter, and it's already a secret gem in there. He says persistence is the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. So how does persistence lead also into developing faith? Well, I'll tell you one thing that we're going to get to later on in this chapter is when you master this principle right here on persistence, which to me, this is in my top two principles in this book. I think decision is the first for me, and persistence is the second. Now, what was I just saying? When you master the art of persistence, like he explains in this book, you will actually find that you will have insurance against failure. And that's pretty cool, knowing that no matter what you do, when you step out into the unknown, can I have the ability to always pick myself up? Because I developed this power called persistence, right? This is so key right here, what we're going to be talking about. So, how long I've been live for 4 minutes and I didn't even get past the title of this book. So it's really cool stuff here. So I'm just going to read some one-liners that I found that stuck out to me, and bring some conversation about it. He says persistence is an essential factor in the procedure of transmuting desire into its monetary equivalent. Okay, the basis of persistence is the power of will. So there's two things that he says: willpower and desire. When those two are properly combined, they will make an irresistible pair. Okay, so the people that truly make it, what do they add? They add willpower and desire. which he says they mix through persistence and place back of their desires to ensure the attainment of their objectives. Okay, so what am I talking about here? Right, I'm talking about two two things that truthfully it's not something that anyone's talking about because it's not something physical, right? Willpower, that's a mental faculty, right? That's your ability to focus on one idea and desire, right? That's something that at this moment in time, what I'm talking about, it's not even a real thing. It's honestly intangible energy. And what I mean by that is yes, it's important to you. It's what you want. It's what you have a burning obsession with. But at the end of the day, it's not even a reality. So these are two mental things that I'm talking about. But when we're talking about like truly making intangible energy into the physical, right? Like this is serious stuff, right? Um I'm talking a little bit abstract, but it's so real. It's so real. It's I probably sound crazy, but I know this is so true. Anyways, so willpower plus desire. And what they did, right, the successful people like Henry Ford's, Andrew Carnegie's, was they mixed these two back with persistence, right? And the persistence, where was this where did this factor come into play? Well, I think of it like an insurance policy, right? You have an insurance policy that you can go out, you can set a plan, take action on it, go for the goal that you want, right? Maybe you not get knocked down, you get hit with temporary defeat, right? What is going to get you back up on your feet and running again or going forward towards your goal? It's the persistence. It's truly that. Okay, furthermore, he says the majority of people are ready to throw their aims and purposes overboard and give up at the first sign of opposition or misfortune. All right. So have you ever, actually set on your path to get what you want, to actually, step outside of the crowd, but then the opposition came, right? The old story came up and you were like, okay, that is not even possible, right? For me, yes, I've been through there where I have, set a goal, went for it, got hit with some temporary defeat and stepped back, right? But the thing is, he says, the few that carry on, despite all the opposition, until they attain their goal. Um, and those few are like the Fords, the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, right? Those are the few that you truly see like their name and they like they're the ones that they made it, right? So we'll be talking about that. Now this is key. He says the building of a fortune generally involves the application of the entire 13 factors of this philosophy. Okay? He said these principles they must be understood, they must be applied with persistence by all who accumulate money. So, okay, can you really master what what this book is teaching by picking and choosing which principles you want to apply. Maybe you do have your goal written down and you are practicing it every day, getting emotionally involved in it. Maybe you do believe in it and maybe you do understand auto suggestion, but maybe there's one decision, right? This is me talking to me. Maybe there's one decision that you haven't yet made, like maybe you haven't made a committed decision yet and you decided, okay, I don't need to worry about that principle of making decisions. Maybe there's also for others like the idea of persistence. Maybe you go try and then you're like, nah, that's not for me, and you step back into like the same you that was doing the same thing that you were doing, right? So the thing is here, he's saying you got to master all 13 of these principles if you truly want to get rich. If you are following this book with the intention of applying the knowledge it conveys, your first test as to your persistence will come when you begin to follow the 6 steps described in the second chapter. All right. So my question for you is, did you make your goal card yet? Did you write down what it is that you want, when it is that you want it? Are you definite in the amount of money that you wrote down? And are you actually following those 6 steps, right? The key here for me, this is so critical. I need you to hear this, right? Are you getting emotionally involved with your goal every morning and every night, right? That is the instructions that he gives, right? There's no for me, I actually did 100 episodes on Think and Grow Rich before I truly decided, okay, I got to make this a habit and I got to track this habit, right? There's really no excuse to not do this because it's not like it requires a lot of physical work. It requires you to believe in the principles here and actually go and get emotionally involved with your goal every time or every day, twice a day. So that's your first step that he says with persistence. Okay, the author is actually checking you up at this point because lack of persistence is one of the major causes of failure. Moreover, experience with thousands of people has proved that lack of persistence is a weakness common to the majority of men. But it is a weakness that can be overcome by effort. So he says the ease with which lack of persistence may be conquered will depend entirely upon the intensity of one's desire. Okay, let me pause on that sentence. Okay, so he said what? The ease with which lack of persistence may be conquered will depend entirely upon how much of a desire do you truly have? How intense is your desire, right? Do you kind of want your goal or has it like hear me out? Has it consumed all of your thoughts? And what I mean by that, right? What does that mean? There's been times where I actually did understand what he meant by having a burning desire. And a lot of people, they'll read this book, they'll read this chapter, and they'll think, "Yeah, I got a burning desire." That was actually me. I thought, "Yeah, of course." Like I wrote the goal card down. I knew what I wanted, and I was like, "I got a burning desire, but nothing is happening. Why am I keep giving up?" Now, now there's a difference between wanting something or wishing for a thing and truly having a burning desire. And this is something that I'm still looking to understand, but what I'm trying to explain is there's such a key difference. And when you understand this difference, truly celebrate it because when you understand that a true burning desire that consumes all of your thoughts, where all you can think about is getting what you want, what you written down, what your goal was, right? That is a burning desire. It is a healthy obsession with your goal, right? I know I can't say I'm in this state now, but when I was in this state and when I do go back into this state, right? I'm not saying it's impossible, but I can get back in a state like that. I'm saying like there's when you have a true burning desire, there's no negativity that can get into your mind because all your thoughts are consumed with what you want. So why do I keep going through this book and talking and why do we keep every single day persistently getting emotionally involved with our goal card? That is because we want it to truly consume our thoughts and actually develop a healthy obsession so that what we want becomes the main focus of what we think about rather than all the other stuff going on around us. Right? This is true metaphysics actually right here. And it's not like this is hoorah. This is I've experienced it. I can tell you the people that understood this book better than I have, better than most people, they understand what I'm saying right here. They understand what a true burning desire is. And he says that a true burning desire will help you overcome a lack of persistence. So if you find yourself, not moving forward, and this is, for myself as well, if I find myself not continuing to persist on even past all the temporary defeat, then I can assure myself that maybe I got to go back to the first principle and truly understand what it means to have a burning desire and truly follow the instructions there. Because I'm telling you, when you do have what it is that you want like on the main screen of your mind and that's all you can think about, it's easy to get back up, right? It just becomes a habit because you want it so bad. Okay, so keep this constantly in mind. Weak desires bring weak results. Okay. Okay, so he gives you a reminder to read the chapter and go back to chapter 2, which is, the instructions on desire. And truly, I'm serious, follow those 6 steps, because, if you're not following the steps, then you're just reading the book and you're just wasting your time, right? There's no reason to think, okay, I can read Think and Grow Rich. I can do nothing that it actually suggests and I will magically get rich, right? That was my mindset when I was 19 and I first picked up this book. Now being 23, having read it for 4 years and now explaining it over video for 125 times, I'm starting to realize, okay, what are you going to just read the book or are you going to do the book? Now this was interesting. Okay. The eagerness with which you will follow these instructions will indicate clearly how much or how little you really desire to accumulate money. Okay, how bad do you actually want to earn money? Right? If you actually pause the video right now and go back to chapter 2 and read the 6 steps, then you can assure yourself that you do want to really earn money and that you actually do have an intense desire. And if you're like, nah, I can save that for next week, you can let yourself know, okay, I probably don't understand what it means to have a burning desire. So if you find that you are indifferent, you may be sure that you have not yet acquired the money consciousness which you must possess before you can be sure of accumulating a fortune. All right. So if you don't think it's worth going through these steps, you can be sure that you have not quite understood what he's saying in this book and you have not developed a money consciousness. What does that mean to have a money consciousness? For me, when I experienced this, it meant that all of my consciousness, all of my thoughts were consumed by what it is that I truly, truly wanted. Okay. I didn't have thoughts of negativity or what other people are saying about me coming in, because this is what truly consumed my mind. And obviously you got to check my results to see the level of thinking that I have. But what am I saying? But the money consciousness, this is the goal that I want to get to, where all I can think about is my burning desire and getting money and truly not letting anything else into my mind. Now, now this is interesting. I'm gonna read one more. I gotta get through this page and just pause it there because this is a lot. So he says fortunes gravitate to men whose minds have been prepared to attract them just as surely as water gravitates to the ocean. In this book may be found all the stimuli necessary to attune any normal mind to the vibrations which will attract the object of one's desires. Now, think about this. Think about, okay, I got to tell you a secret. Why did I decide that this is the book that I wanted to read and do a live on every weekday? It's because honestly, this book, more than any other book that I have read out there, actually stimulated my mind to a level that it wasn't my baseline level. And well, I'm skipping ahead, but I gotta say this, right? He actually defined the genius, what a genius is, and he says that a genius is any person who can elevate their state of mind so that they're actually attracting thoughts which they did not originally attract at their baseline thinking. So going back to this, he says in this book may be found the stimuli necessary to attune any normal mind to the vibrations which will attract the object of one's desires. Okay? That sounds so there's so you can go so in depth on that sentence alone, on the fact that you can literally elevate your thinking through literal stimuli, almost like taking a drug, but this isn't a drug. I'm reading a book, but I'm still able to elevate my thinking. And this is what's so cool about this book for me, right? It truly does elevate my thinking to a new level. Okay. Furthermore, Napoleon Hill says, if you find you are weak in persistence, center your attention upon the instructions contained in the chapter on power. Surround yourself with a mastermind group, and through the cooperative efforts of the members of this group, you can develop persistence. You will find additional instructions for the development of persistence in the chapters on autosuggestion and the subconscious mind. Okay, so we just brought three different principles into this chapter, right? Because you got to realize every one of these principles weaves in with one another and ultimately forms what I'm trying to truly get across to you is as the money consciousness. So we talked about the mastermind, right? You do need a mastermind if you want to develop the habit of persistence, right? He says to surround yourself with people who have already acquired this habit of persistence. And personally, this is just from personal experience. I've done this, and through osmosis, that's where I actually developed persistence to keep doing these videos. Right? I had a mentor who I've been so blessed to have met, and he's done over 1,400 episodes, 1,400 lives, trying to give his secret to success. And so that's what I learned just through being around him so much through osmosis that okay, maybe I can start to do this. So he's saying surround yourself with people who have already developed, the persistence capability. And secondly, you can find further instructions in the chapters on autosuggestion and the subconscious mind. Now, just in terms of the chapter on autosuggestion, right? He tells you to continuously repeat your goal and get emotionally involved in it and how the feeling is the secret to getting involved in it. So there's exact instructions on it's just reading your goal card and truly feeling it already done every single day. And that's like from my understanding what he means by the instructions in auto suggestion in the subconscious mind. That's actually something we're going to get to because I don't know what the exact instructions are in the subconscious mind, but I will soon. So so yeah, he recommends again to follow the instructions outlined in these chapters until your habit nature hands over to your subconscious mind a clear picture of the object of your desire. From that point on, you will not be handicapped by lack of persistence. Okay, so I'm going to pause it there. So interesting conversation today. Just talking. I think I only got through like 2 pages on the chapter of persistence, and just like the idea. I think persistence. You got to realize it underweaves every other one of these principles because you can't just follow the principles once and expect to get rich by doing it once, right? The underlying factor here is truly persistently taking action on studying these principles and applying them, right? So that's just the conversation today. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Let me know something you learned. Let me know something you liked from the conversation today around persistence. I'll be continuing on this conversation tomorrow, and I'll leave you with this. Until we meet again in time and space, by everybody for now. All right.